Is the recorder on?
Yes, it is.
Just checking.
Oh,
Trying to
except for the I had it on all night long. The thing,
Yeah, and the battery
the
ran down?
bed.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I don't know why, because it's been plugged in the whole time.
Maybe the battery's bad.
But it's plugged in now.
Okay.
Our soundboard is what I'm talking about.
Oh, just went off.
So
Oh, there we go.
we may have to sing all of our.
I'll sing.
I'll sing too. Because in my mind, there's only 3 of us. There's no one else. That's how I look at it. No matter how bad I sound.
Right.
So,
We're just
all
looking
right.
at piles.
So we
of
got our
kids'
prep
clothes.
done here, and let's see, we got our episode number, we got our name. We have our outgoing song.
No.
All right. Will it be a 9 Inch Nails?
I think it will
Tune?
be today.
All right.
See, and then it shut back off. Maybe it's broken.
Maybe the power connector is broken.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of
It
what
shows
happens.
the red light for charging is on though.
Yeah, but you said it charged all night.
Right.
It should be green. I mean, that's what mine does.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Mine too.
Okay. All right.
I
Well,
say the battery's bad.
I'll
Pull
have
the
to
battery out of
plug
it
them in.
and see if that.
Oh, yeah, that might help. All right. So if anyone's listening,
Yeah. So if you have
We're
an
still
HTC Evo 3D, this is how you pop the back off.
yeah, that's
pull
right.
the battery
You
out.
pull the battery out and then
So
plug it.
we no longer use this as a 3D camera or
We never did.
as a phone.
It used to, actually, yeah, that's the one that
That
used to be mine, and then
yeah.
you got it.
Right. And
So- And you've had it for, my goodness, about 4 years, 3
no,
years.
a year and a half.
Oh, year and a half. Okay.
And it is our soundboard now. It's almost 3 or 4 years old.
It can't be. You had it for a year and a half?
Yeah, I got it April of 2013.
Okay. It must have been sitting around my house for a while because it preceded my Galaxy, and I had my
in your
Galaxy.
car for a while, wasn't it? Or something?
Not that one.
Yeah.
That was.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was the one you lost and you found it later.
Not
because
necessarily in your car,
you
but
got
you
the
lost
Galaxy
it at
because
home.
you didn't.
Yeah. All right. I'm not going to go into my phone travails. They're long and many. Okay, so how's that going now? Hey. Okay, now it's firing
Booting
up.
again. Hopefully, we'll
Did
see.
you put the battery back in?
I did.
Oh, you did.
No, you should have left the battery out.
I don't think it'll power on with the battery
It
out.
should power on with the battery out.
Matt's
I know
okay.
it stopped
That's
charging.
okay. That's a. This is a situation where you should bet, Matt. I'm familiar
I'm
with
not saying it's definitely going to power
See,
on.
that's why.
It should power on.
Oh, just went off.
And it's right when Android goes to boot. So I think Android or something screwed up on it. So
Did
we'll
you
have
root
to-
that thing?
No, I
Okay.
couldn't figure out how to do it.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess we'll.
I guess
Well,
we're gonna
Tony,
go.
you're going to have some editing on your hands.
Right. Man, it took me a week last time. I don't know.
I was going to make, I was going to make a smart aleck remark, and I thought, oh, I won't do it. But thanks for doing that.
Right.
Well, if you want to load them up, see, I don't mind editing the show as long as I don't have to post it because I have a hard time getting it on archive.org.
Mhm. Well, what took so long this time is that I was trying to get the editing system I use. It's a VM. I tried to get that onto my laptop,
Okay.
and
We
right
sounds
now
like we
it's-
started the show, doesn't it?
well, let's
We should get yeah, we'll talk about that. So,
All right.
all right.
Welcome to the Sunday Morning Linux Review. This is Tony Bemis.
Matt Anderson. Sorry, I was reading.
And Mary Tomich,
And this is episode 143.
rolling up the sleeves.
getting the stuff done. Tony's
right.
Tony's working on our studio. As you can see if you're watching the video, we've got a better background than we did last time.
Do we?
Right, slightly better. There's an actual
And
desk.
It's coming along.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and then also there's going to be some sleeve rolling in one of your news stories. I think we'll be talking about.
Yes, we'll be
So,
talking about that.
well, so it'll become apparent.
That's right.
All right. Well, oh, and then the only other thing for anybody who listens, we'll be. I guess we don't even have to talk about the phone. Your phone,
Yeah, it's the soundboard's not
the
working today.
soundboard. Yeah, it's not working.
I don't
So
know,
anybody who
it's-
listens on YouTube, you won't hear the various segment intros. We're just gonna
That's
kind
it
of
right
do
there.
it straight through and then edit it after the fact.
That's right. If anybody out there knows how to root
How to edit?
or
Let us know.
no how to root a Evo 3D, that's HTC Evo 3D. Let me know, because I looked up a year and a half ago, and I guess I have the wrong version of boot or whatever it's hard to redo. So if they've figured it out in the last year and a half, let me know, and we'll get.
I think that was
something
the
else
phone
on
that
here.
Dor. I think that was
Yeah.
the phone that Dor wanted to. We're gonna try to root, but we couldn't get there. So
Right? They said, yeah, I don't think
yeah,
so.
yeah,
That was what 2.5 years ago,
yeah. It was quite a while ago.
right?
Mhm.
Um,
All right. So
yeah, so I'll have a little bit extra editing,
yeah. So the audio version will sound just as good as it always does.
hopefully.
All right.
Sorry, we had issues this last time, and it took me a week to get it edited and posted. For episode 142.
That's what happens when you move or are going to school, trying to corral two kids.
Right.
What?
Sorry, I was not listening to you all and reading something that really struck my.
Oh, I
fancy.
thought
Uh,
I thought, well, I didn't think what I said was very that funny. I'm thinking, what's wrong with Matt this morning? All right. So anyway, so well, Tony, so we'll go ahead and just finish catching up with you.
yeah. So it took me a week because I was trying to get the editing VM on my laptop,
Mm-hmm.
and then once I finally got I had to BitTorrent sync it down from my backup. Once I got it down, or synced to my laptop, and then VirtualBox won't boot any virtual VMs. And it's the first time I tried using VMs on this since I switched to this HP laptop.
Hmm.
And I didn't do a full reinstall. I just yanked the drive out of my IBM and threw it in this HP.
Mm-hmm.
So that may have something to do with it. So coming up here in the probably next couple months, I'll probably be probably get a SD or a solid state drive to go in this or something.
Oh, that'll be
Go-
nice.
That'd be
Go
awesome.
in what?
In my HP,
Oh,
because I'm gonna have to do a full reinstall.
why?
Because
sorry.
VirtualBox doesn't work, man.
Okay. Is it just the kernel though that happens with the kernel? Like a lot of times when your distro updates the kernel,
Right.
they don't have that kernel yet, so it takes a while for the kernel to get there.
No, it has it, and it goes through and compiles the modules for each kernel. So I've uninstalled and reinstalled, and it goes through and recompiles all those modules, and VirtualBox will launch. It's just when I go to launch one of the VMs, whether it's an old one that I've had running on a different computer or whether it's a brand new one I go to make, it boots up almost to where, or gets halfway through the boot cycle and then just reboots. Or no, it pops off an error like check your log, and
So what makes you think it's your core OS? So
because I pulled this hard drive out of my IBM and stuck it in my HP, and I didn't do any reinstall or anything. So I think it still has like flags for the old processor or something. I don't know.
Oh, I'm sure that's what it is.
Yeah, and I went from Core 2 Duo to an i3 series.
That's your problem right there.
That's
it.
That's your problem.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it's still an Intel, but it went from
Yeah.
the Core 2 Duo to an i5. So there's something wonky going on.
yeah,
And
that's
it gives me an excuse to get a solid state drive.
Yes.
well, that's the
always
most
a
important thing
plus.
of all.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, keep us posted,
Okay.
Matt.
Me?
Did you do anything interesting
Yeah.
last couple
I
weeks?
don't know. Did I talk about the new BitTorrent attack? On the last
I
show?
don't recall.
No, I think I heard it from somebody else.
Oh my gosh. Got this new attack at work. And
Mhm.
I couldn't figure out how to stop
At
it.
the data center.
Yeah. The server was actually
Melting.
crashing
Yeah.
because it was locking up because the traffic was so high.
Really?
It's this new attack where it's at least it's new to me. The one guy I talked to in the morning, he's on the day shift. He says that where he used to work, they'd seen it before there.
Mm.
So, but it's new to us.
Mm-hmm.
And what it is somebody put your site out on some kind of BitTorrent list that you got this really popular download available, and
Oh.
you don't. I mean, all the requests are being 404'd because the files that people are looking for with BitTorrent don't exist.
Oh, okay.
But it's so massive. Like it was in the 70-minute period that I checked for this client, it was over 4,000 unique IPs.
Holy cow.
Wow.
It was massive amount of traffic. So it was just their Apache. I'm sure you know this, Tony. Apache has a setting in it called max clients.
Mm.
So it can only have a maximum number of children spawn at a time. And each time someone hits the site, that spawns a new child process.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just instantly max clients, max clients, max clients, max clients. So none of the websites could load.
Oh.
And but so I shouted out on we use HipChat at work. So I shouted out on the support channel, and one of the tier 2s who was remote said, hey, check this site out for a possible fix with IP tables. So I applied everything that website said to do in IP tables, but then IP tables wouldn't start because it said you're missing your chain rule to make all those rules work.
Oh.
So the tutorial he sent me didn't have that in it though.
Oh.
But luckily, friend of the show, Eric, who also works with me, was sitting right next to me, and he goes, write this chain rule. He told me what to type in, and yep, then it worked, and it was all blocked. So it
Wow.
wasn't my genius. Although the other support guys at work were like, "Oh, great job, Matt," and I'm like, "No. B Nels and Eric Cook deserve the praise for this one. I was just the typist."
You know,
So,
I saw your G Plus post about that. That is really cool.
yeah.
When
So-
when did you post that?
Oh, I don't know, a couple of days. Right,
It was
the
like-
same day it happened.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Monday or Tuesday or something.
I don't know
It
if
was
I'm.
last week.
So, yeah. It was
Wow.
wild though. And then it happened again to us, but this one was so large.
That's kind of like the budget hack. I mean, the budget hack.
Yeah, it's
You know what I
a-
mean? Because they
it's
don't do
like
it. They just post a link.
And they're
Oh,
getting you DDoS.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty ingenious. I
yeah,
think.
yeah.
But also, it happened again to one of our that was on a shared server, so it was
Mhm.
affecting several clients. But then it happened again to one of our dedicated clients, like about 2 days ago. No, Friday night that I worked, and so I applied my fix, but my fix didn't work. Do you know why? Because this attack was so large, it was saturating the link.
Really?
Oh,
Luckily,
man.
our senior network guy is in on Friday nights, actually in the shop.
Mhm.
So I said, "Hey, Cullen, is there anything you can do?" And he said, "Well, I'll look at the traffic." All of it was from China. So we have this peak flow thing that lets us do traffic shaping. So for that IP address that it was,
You
being
skinnied it
attacked,
down.
he blocked all of China because you can block by country in it.
Oh.
So whammo bammo, he says, then you to look at the graph afterward on peak flow, the traffic to the site is here, and the traffic being blocked is here.
Wow.
So yeah.
That's
So that
cool.
way that peak flow is a really nice device because before we had that peak flow, what we would have to do is put a carrier null route on that IP, which means their website would be down until the attack stopped.
Mhm.
Oh.
So
Peak flow. That's a tool.
yeah, it's a device.
Mhm.
It's
Oh, it's a
from-
device. Okay.
It's from what is the name of that company? It's a big company that makes things like that, and their home office is in, I think, Boston, but their R&D centers in Ann Arbor.
Hmm.
Can't remember.
I'm not.
Barracuda?
I think so.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I actually applied for a job over there. I'm waiting to hear
They
back. from
called
them.
me at
Ooh.
the same time. One of their headhunters called me right after I got the job I have now.
Oh
So
yeah.
I'm like, no. Thanks anyway.
Hmm. All right. Well,
yeah.
that's interesting.
All right. Tales from the data center.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, it was. It was kind of well, that whole that denial of service using the
Yeah, using BitTorrent. I thought that was
That's
it's kind of unique.
diabolically clever.
Yeah, they were
Yeah.
because whatever file they used to this time happened to be real popular amongst Chinese people, I guess.
Was it the interview?
I don't know what it was. That would have been North Korea.
I know that, but I mean, yeah, it's just, okay. I didn't have time to
North-
really think
North
of a
Korea
good.
doesn't have enough internet connections to make any kind of attack.
Yeah, they don't, and I think we own them anyway. So, well, let's see. So just catching up on what happened with me.
Yes.
Well, I did my road trip to South Carolina.
Well,
And that
we,
was
we found out that you were on a road trip to South Carolina when you posted a picture from
the
Myrtle
beach. Yeah, yeah, that's true. And I think my favorite sign I saw was on a Burger King. And speaking of Burger Kings, Matt brought in breakfast this morning, which was very nice, from Burger King. But it was you could get a bologna Velveeta and egg biscuit.
What?
What?
Yeah.
Only in North Carolina.
Well, actually, it was South Carolina, but it was, but bologna is spelled as it typically is, Bologna, Bologna, a Bologna, Velveeta, and egg biscuit. I just thought that combination was pretty interesting.
Yes.
Anyway, and then I use Google Maps, and it kind of an unusual thing happened with Google Maps. First of all, I found out that my provider doesn't have good service all the way. There were some spots when I was on state highways that just didn't have great coverage, but I ended up getting my pin got dropped in the middle of the Atlantic. Luckily, I didn't turn the car and start driving toward the ocean, but I thought it was very unusual. But apparently, I think if you touch your screen a few times or in rapid succession, or you do some kind of action, it will drop a pin someplace, and that's what it did. And it was really annoying because it screwed up my directions.
I tried to
You know how
I
you
tried to
could
give you
fix that?
directions into the
Gotten a paper map.
No,
What?
closed it, reopened it, and gotten your directions again.
I probably could have, but then I have to pull over to the side of the road. Yeah, no, but that's true. But anyway, so there was that. And then also, I was listening to the BSD Now podcast this week, and they interviewed a guy. His name is David Matthews, I believe it is. And he had presented at Meet BSD last November. He's got a utility that he's developing, and I think he's planning to have it available by the end of this. Actually, it was by the end of last year, but I think probably first half of this year. It's called Pipe Cut. You ever heard of it? Now, I'm thinking that it will be available outside of just the BSDs or Unix, but what it is, system administrators and people who do a lot of work on the council will string together a lot of commands via, the pipe symbol, right?
Yes, pipe chains.
Yes, pipe chains, exactly.
I write lots of pipe chains every day.
And when you have to go back and you want to check it and this type of thing, what kind of tool do you use now to do it?
Check what?
Well, let's say that you strung together maybe 5 or 6 different commands in a chain.
Yeah.
And you want to go back.
The way I do it is I build them up.
Mhm.
I'll start with what I like one, just to get what I want to see, and then I'll
Mhm.
do this and then that, and I'll just keep adding on until I finally got the data.
And do
I
you
want.
test each one of them before you?
Yes.
Okay. Well, what this utility that he's got that's called Pipe Cut, what it does is at the bottom of the terminal, it opens. Well, you can basically see that it's called the tool set. That's what the whole chain of commands is called. And then each segment between the pipe symbols is called a blade. So what you're able to do is you can, via keyboard actions, you can move back and forth between them. You get a window up here that will show you what's going to happen. It's very slick. And even though I probably will never use it.
I don't think I would either, though, because what I'm doing is I build it up, and then I do stuff like go back and build a for loop around that chain that I just made, things like that. Mostly.
Okay, well, anyway, I saw it, and I think at least there are probably some people seem to react very favorably to it. But it's just something that I took a look at, and his presentation, the proof of concept that he did, the demo, is in the Meet BSD videos that were released.
Meet BSD where? Like California?
Yeah.
Meet BSD
Yeah.
California?
Yep, that I think it was mid-November.
Because they do those all over.
Yeah, it was a November one. So it's in his name is David Matthews, as I said. Take a look at it. It might be something.
I'll look at it.
Yeah. So anyway.
Is it ported to Linux?
Well, that's the question. That was my original question, because it's going to be available for Unix, and BSD kind of falls into that category.
Right.
I would not be the least bit surprised if it's not ported or available in Linux, that it goes there. I can't believe that it wouldn't, because everybody seemed to react very favorably to it.
Right.
So
Well, all right.
anyway, I wanted to say that. And then the only other thing I did is I put a new IRC chat client on, because conversation kind of went.
I'm using Conversation right now.
Well, I was able to reinstall it because I built it from the ports, FreeBSD ports.
Yeah.
But I did install a second one called Quassel, and that's working great. So, all right, and that's it. That's it for me.
All right.
In stereo.
That's right.
All right. So, gentlemen, where are we headed? This
So
crazy
We're
journey.
going to the kernel. Matt, what's
my
happening in the
gosh.
kernel this week?
Mark the time, because I forgot he had to do the kernel.
There's a thing called prep.
Yeah, I totally ignored it this time.
That's all right. Well, you do that. I'm just gonna hack a lung out. Excuse me. And then just count back in when you're ready to go.
Yep. Well, I'm going to get this watch ready too.
Might as well while you're at it.
There we go. All right. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And the kernel news. In the kernel, we're currently, the main line is 3.19-RC5, released on 118. And the newest stable kernel is 3.18.3, released on 116. And 3.14.29, released on 116. 3.12.36, released on 114. 3.10.65, released on 116. And that's it for the kernel.
Thank you, Matt.
You're welcome.
And we're moving on.
We're moving on to the distros.
Not of the week.
No.
Well, actually, it is of the week.
It will be.
Hey, and did you see the new layout that DistroWatch did on their page now? Well, not new layout, but what they've done is, well, let me rephrase that. They've added a little graphic. So in addition to the logo of the distro that's listed, they show a desktop.
Oh yeah.
Oh, they do. I
a
did not
screenshot.
notice that.
Yeah.
That's nice.
IP fire, no desktop.
That's right.
Oh, but anyway, yeah. So they started doing that. So
All right.
more eye candy.
That's right. So
Unless you're Q4 OS. That's what a desktop should look like.
Yeah.
Too many icons there, though.
Yeah.
There's
Very.
4 of them.
Yeah. So I think we are starting with Parted Magic, which.
way back.
It is.
I'm only going back as far as Uber student. Sorry.
Okay. Well.
Oh, hold on just a second. I guess, should I mark this time again?
Yeah. Let's do it
7.
again. Yeah. For sure, mark it. I'm getting out of the way. So. Yeah, if you do January 2015, you'll see it's just off the list. Not very far off the list at all. Because Tails is another one too. So.
Yeah, and I've got a few people chatting in IRC.
Yeah.
We have Xander's on with us now.
Is he?
All right.
All right.
Yeah. And 5150 says our stream keeps on cutting out. I wonder whether it's our
does?
streaming server that's having that issue.
Anyone who's watching and saw Matt disappear, he was becoming what were you becoming? A kind of a
home
duct-
inspector.
house inspector.
whatever.
He thought there was a leak, but it turned out to be
It's the wood pop
expansion contraction of
Yep. From the heater. The heater shut
Mhm.
off
yeah,
before we started the show. It's been popping, and
yes.
it's the wood. In case anybody was worried about a leak for Tony, like I was.
Matt's
Well, I
just that kind of
appreciate you.
Matt's that kind of caring guy.
No, it was just I gotta find out whether that's a leak or not. It's driving me nuts.
All right. All right, so let's get rolling then.
All right.
We're gonna mark the time so you know where it is.
Yeah, coming back in 29 and a half. So I should
You should write that
let's
down.
write that down.
Okay.
All right.
right.
So we're going back, way back to what was the last day we had this show?
Parted Magic is the first distro since the last time we did it.
All right. Yeah,
mhm.
Parted Magic.
Mhm.
You know, I just downloaded that.
Did you?
Yeah, they've changed from the free model to a donation model.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to pay to
Do you
get
have
the
to
latest.
donate?
Yeah, I haven't found a way to get it for free. Although it's definitely worth it. It's something that.
Oh yeah, if you're in the
If you're
if
using
you're in
it,
that business, it's definitely worth it.
Oh yeah. So I just got this latest version 2 days ago, and it's nice. Boots and
I'm
does
sure you can
everything I
donate
need.
whatever you want to. It's,
Right.
mm-hmm.
Well, it has like $10, and then if you want to add more or something, then you can do that.
But speaking of donation, maybe I could probably wait till we got to IP Fire, but they've set up a kind of a donation model too, and what they've done it in a very interesting way. They have kind of categorized various aspects of their operations so that the hosting is one, and if you want to donate to the hosting, they have a little area that shows how close they are to reaching their goals. So I think for hosting, they were like 90% there. So I thought, I'm going to throw some money in that. So I threw a little bit of money over there just to kind of help them get closer. But I think that's kind of a nice way. I mean, because people don't realize, or maybe we do, and we just don't really think about it much. It costs money.
People don't think about it.
Yeah.
This stuff costs money.
It costs money to host
hosting
it.
costs money.
Mhm.
We don't give our hosting away for free. Well,
Yeah.
we
Charitable. Well,
we donate
whatever.
some. Like
Yeah.
we host a Senos server. So,
Mhm.
but for the most part, we don't give our services away for free.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, but yeah, Parted Magic is a
Yeah.
great little distro. I've used it in the past.
Yeah. So by the way, the version is 2015_01_13, and they said they fixed a DVD problem where some DVD drives on Asus machines weren't
Mhm.
recognizing right, weren't booting right, so they fixed that.
Yeah. And they said that you can reproduce that hang up on almost any newer Asus board. That's what they said on their site.
Yeah.
That it's not widespread because most people are not using the SATA 3 port for DVD driver or DVD drive.
It's kind of strange that if you have it in
Mhm.
in 1, 2, or 4, it runs fine, but if you put it in port
3,
3,
it
it has this issue.
hangs. Yeah. It is
Yeah.
odd.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
Okay, so
Next up is Tails 1.2.3. It's the latest distribution for the privacy, or designed to preserve privacy and anonymity while browsing the internet.
we think.
Right.
Do you know how do they get around the fact that Tor requires you to have correct time? Because the live distros, whenever you boot them, if you ever notice, your time is all screwed up.
Mine isn't.
Right.
The only way
Well-
it's screwed up is that it might be in the time zone of the people that put the distro together.
That's what makes it screwed up, because Tor recognizes that that's not where you are.
Maybe it relies on a local time server. I don't know. It's a good question.
That is a good question.
Although I've heard that there's a lot of things that Tor is they're finding out it's easier and easier to track people on Tor.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to have resources behind you. Like the NSA can easily track you now. So don't use Tor if you're trying to get around NSA, because it's not going to work.
Nope, get foreign VPSs. That's what I do.
Oh, sure. Dial into.
I have a VPS in Frankfurt and a VPS in Tokyo.
Mm-hmm.
But they're intelligence services.
So what?
Right. Well, I have one in London, but
I gotta,
everything's being watched there also. So
The one in Germany is good because Germans are very anti-surveillance.
yes.
are they?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, there's this whole like history behind
Yes.
the
Nazis. and
Oh,
surveillance.
okay. I can understand that.
Right.
That makes sense. That makes sense. You know, one of the speaking of tails and all of that security stuff, one of the security fixes they had, apparently, they disabled the upgrade checking in the unsafe browser, and until now, until this release, the unsafe browser had checked for upgrades of the Tor browser in the clear. So they got that fixed.
yeah.
Yeah, so, and I think now you can suspend a RAM when closing the lid on battery power. So
All right.
some of the little fixes are always nice.
Very cool. All right. Next up, we have Uber Student 4.1, which they're Ubuntu based, and they're using XFCE for their desktop.
They are, and you know, they this particular release, they've cut their boot time, they said, about in half. So whatever efficiencies they released in this most recent version resulted in a much faster boot.
Okay. Cool. Yeah.
Yep, and they improved their update manager. And now the Uber Student web apps have multi-browser support, because remember I reviewed this a year and a half, couple years ago, whenever it was. It's great. It was a great distro because it's got so many apps. Some of them basically are when you go into the app launcher and click it, you basically are opening a web page with the particular application in it. So now it allows you to do that for more than one browser. I guess maybe you don't have to use your default browser, I guess. So
Yeah, that's nice.
yeah, very nice.
Speaking of student applications, I have I'm going to school at EMU, Eastern Michigan University,
Really?
and they're doing a
I'm shocked. No.
they're doing an in-service for this open source program,
Mhm.
and at the moment I forgot what it is.
So you get us all going, and then you
Actually,
forgot.
let me look it up real quick.
All right.
It's in my
Well, while you do
calendar.
that, let me just mention too another thing on Uber Student. If you already have 4.0 installed in a system using BIOS, there's no need to update to Uber Student 4.1. So the existing update manager is going to handle it for you just fine. Although they said the 4.0 configurations in your home directory may override some of the new ones that would otherwise be there with 4.1. So just a little something to keep an eye on if you use Uber Student.
All right.
Okay,
that
Tony.
program, it's called Zetro. Z or all right, I'll just spell it. Zotero.
Zotro?
Zotero?
Zotero, maybe. Workshop for Zotero.
Zotero. Hmm.
And
That's how I would pronounce it.
it's a reference manager software. So
Oh, really? I
yeah.
think I've heard of it.
And a little bit what I looked up on it is there's like a plugin for your web browser,
Mhm.
and there's the application that you install, and it's anytime you're doing research, and when you do a research, there's sites or
You have to look
works
stuff up.
cited. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
there's a works cited and there's bibliography. So works
Mhm.
cited is just
Say
the
that
stuff
again?
that you actually wrote
There's a
in,
what?
and bibliography.
Okay.
So that's two different things that you can use.
Uh-huh.
And the works cited is just stuff that you. What?
For anybody who heard that crack, I
Bibliography.
slapped Matt.
Anyway, the so for the
Mhm.
bibliography,
There you go.
you're supposed to cite everything that you came in contact with while you're doing the research.
Yes.
Yeah.
So every single web page that is relevant to the research, not just your paper that you
And
wrote.
you have to cite it in a certain way.
Yeah, there's a syntax you got to follow.
Well, yeah, and
But-
the syntaxes are different, and your instructor can make his own syntax up. It's just crazy.
or
Right.
her own.
Or her.
Uh,
Sorry.
Right,
I
that's
used him in the
I know.
in the generalist sense.
I know. I'm just giving you a hard time. But Tony, I would look at it this way: all those sites and that mentioning is just going to help lengthen your paper and make it look longer.
Right.
So that always helps.
Yeah. So this is supposed to. Anytime you hit a web page and you're reading it, you can just hit the button and it logs it for you, so that it creates
Oh, that Zotero does?
bibliography. I think so.
Oh,
So,
wow.
that
just from
is
what I-
nice.
It is.
Yeah.
So you can put basically the format you need the citation in,
And
and then so you
it
say
reads it.
bang, and it then writes the you got me doing it.
Well, you deserve that, you know.
Well, hopefully. I don't know. I haven't done the workshop yet.
Oh,
So just
okay.
what I've read online.
Well, you pulled up the page. What does it look like? Have you had a chance to look at it yet?
I'm not going that far into it.
Okay.
This is a live show.
Oh yeah, grab your research with a single click. I'm all for that. That sounds very efficient
Yes.
and easy.
That's right.
All right. So
Yeah. So my workshop is like in the middle of February. So it won't be the next show, but the show after that, I can
mhm.
do a little bit of review on the program.
Okay. Yeah, that'll be fun to listen.
Yeah.
You can do it instead of a distro review, instead of me doing a distro review, and then I'll edit the show that week. All right. I guess we'll move on.
All right. Moving on. Next up we have is Makalulu. Makalulu.
What happened to
Linux,
was
we don't know.
Q4OS? Was that?
That's after Makalulu.
Oh, is it?
And in honor of Tony, I'm
It is
saying
All right.
Makalulu.
Okay.
Makalulu. Right.
Makulu
Makulu.
Linux.
That's right. Yeah. 2.0.
You just call it
Cinnamon
Hippo
edition.
Linux.
Right. And the reason that we're making a little bit bigger deal about it is we got an email from Xander
Yeah.
about it, and
Yeah.
he's in
One
the
of our
IRC right
listeners.
That's the
now.
one I was reading
Well,
while you
well-
and Tony were doing their.
Oh.
Wasn't it funny? We'll go into it. We'll read it during our listener feedback segment. So, but anyway, so what else do you have to say about Makalulu?
Cinnamon desktop. Cinnamon is awesome. Everybody should switch to it.
Yeah, and you know they now offer a complete new device driver manager, thanks to I guess one of the project team members or users put it together. So they it was completely rewritten for them. So,
Nice.
yeah. Also, they were using the GNOME Display Manager, but now they've replaced it with Light DM.
Oh yeah.
And there's a Light DM Manager too that can be used to customize your login options. So pretty good.
Yeah. Nice.
No,
Oh, and you know they've optimized it to run on VirtualBox.
with their.
And these guys write the longest release announcement. I'm not kidding you. But it's appreciated because just so all
They
right.
want to let you know what's going on, man.
Yeah, they do,
Yeah.
and they and then some.
All right.
There's a thing. Okay,
No, I'm sorry.
that's a no. That's a signal to move on, and we're moving on. That's all right.
All right. Next up on the 19th, we have Handy Linux 1.8, and they are a Debian-based desktop with some innovative features designed for newcomers to Linux.
And I found it so handy that distro was listed. So handy, in fact, that it's our distro review this week.
Ooh.
Hey.
Handy Linux.
Did you know though that the
It's in French. Yes, I know
Yes.
that. Yes.
the
So my review
announcement-
is in French,
Ah,
badly accented French.
the announcement was only made in French, but the distro does support it in French and English.
It does.
So,
Well, and the thing of it is I just simply paste the link in Chrome and it automatically translates it to English.
that sounds like cheating, Mary.
But well,
Cheating.
it's not cheating.
Well,
it's
You should have to
it's
learn
making
French.
efficient. It's making efficient use of technology, and
Okay.
they do when
you
you
say efficient use of technology, I say cheating.
well when you go to their site though they do have a little English link at the top, so the site will re-render in English.
Yes.
So. All right,
All right.
so stay tuned on that one.
All right.
Yeah. All right. On the 20th, we have Q4OS 0.5.24, and they are also Debian based with Trinity as their desktop. And if you don't remember what Trinity is, it's the fork of KDE 3.5.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they not only that, but you can buy laptops with Q4OS installed on it.
Really?
Including, yeah, they've got you go to
From their website.
yes, from their website.
Hmm.
They've got I think 2 or 3 laptops that you can get that you can get with Q4OS installed,
Speaking of which,
and a Raspberry Pi.
did you see that the open source laptop, they're not necessarily, but that the project to bring you a laptop that's got all open hardware in it, or as open as the hardware they could get,
Mm-hmm.
met their funding goal. They're
Oh,
going to have
really?
laptops available.
Nice.
Really?
Yes.
Oh. Wow. We'll have to look into that.
Yeah.
Do you remember the name of it or
No.
anything? All right, some vague some vague comment about some open source laptop. All right, I'll find it.
It was all over the news. I saw it like 3 different times when I was reading the news this week.
Okay. All right,
All
go
right.
ahead, Tony.
On the 21st, we have Proxmox 4.0 Mail Gateway. And this Mail Gateway edition is a special email proxy based on the Debian GNU Linux 7.8.
Yeah, I think they've got several versions of Proxmox. I think I
Mm.
want to say that this is. I could be wrong though. I think this is like the first release of the email gateway version.
Cool.
Then why is it 4.0?
That's probably based
Because
on
the
Proxmox
core,
4.0.
yeah,
And this is
and
their gateway.
customized for the
their-
email gateway. Matt.
All right, I'll let it slide.
Okay.
All right. On the 21st, we have Tiny Core Linux 6.0 PyCore, and some minimalist designed for Raspberry Pis, as you would expect. Tiny Core and PyCore.
Yeah, and they've got BusyBox 1.2 in it, and they mentioned that the kernel modules have been rearranged. So I'm not sure what that means, but I'm sure it's great.
All right.
And you can also get an image with the pre-installed SSH for headless operations, and also one with the graphical interface if you want.
Cool.
Okay.
All right. On the 22nd, we have RoboLinux 7.8.1, and they are a beginner-friendly distro with Debian stable.
Yeah, we viewed that last year, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe about a year ago. Pretty interesting distro. I mean, they, although it didn't work for me, perhaps for obvious reasons, you do have the capability of downloading drivers. You click, depending on what driver you need for your wireless, if it doesn't automatically set up, you can click on a link in the menu, in the applications menu, and it downloads and installs the proper wireless driver to get your wireless working. I mean, the concept I think is great. So this distro is kind of interesting to me.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
pretty cool.
They also spent a lot of time on this time increasing the speed. It's much faster.
Good.
Yeah,
Okay.
all right. All right, next up we have is pfSense 2.2, and they are an updated project from the FreeBSD based
Yeah.
for firewalls and routers. And it's pretty cool. I'm running IP Fire right now, which we'll see that there's released in a few minutes. But I'm actually thinking about going to pfSense.
You can do so much more with pfSense. It's just you can traffic shape and everything with it. So
Well, the biggest
might
thing
be
I'm
overkill
looking
for the home.
well, yeah, but what I want is native IPv6 routing,
oh, it does
and
do that.
IP Fire doesn't do that. So
I'd look into pfSense.
Does your upstream have native IPv6?
everything I've read it does. I haven't tried it yet, but I have
Mhm.
UVerse. So everything with the modern UVerse modems, they said that it's IPv6 right to the house.
Cool.
So
Really?
yeah, and I really want to do a lot of research and playing with it. And,
Oh, I'd
and
be
now that I
interested to
have
hear.
native IPv6, definitely want to mess with
Be
it.
sure to use a 64-bit system for that.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got.
Well,
yeah,
wait a
so I
minute.
can't
No, I'm
use-
confusing it with FreeNAS. I think because I wanted to repurpose. I've got some 32-bit desktops at home.
right.
I wanted to repurpose one for FreeNAS, and they recommended 64 because of the ZFS file system.
You know, the other thing that's pushing me to replace my current IP Fire install is that I'm getting about a 5 meg download speeds through the router, but on when I'm at the ATT gateway, I'm getting 20 meg down. So I think I have some hardware
Wow.
issues with.
I think that your IP Fire is killing you. Yes.
No, I don't think it's IP Fire itself. I think it's the laptop.
Oh yeah.
It's
That
a
it just can't pass packets fast enough.
yeah. And it may be that I'm using a USB NIC or something like that. I don't know. But anyway, so that's
Hey, Tony, before
Mhm.
you go any further talking about you're wanting to change that or look into other options, I suggest that you take a look at the PCBSD.org. They've got a blog entry regarding TrueOS, which is their kind of their server-based version of PCBSD. They set it up with IPFW and a home router, and he discusses how he did it, all the steps he took. It might be interesting just to read it and see if there's anything
Sure.
of use there.
Yeah, but you would.
If I want to pull my hair out, I'll do it that way.
Yeah.
I mean,
'Cause-
IP Fire, you
Okay.
stick, or IP
Okay.
PF Sense.
PF they have a graphical interface,
Okay.
and they have a better PF.
Oh, and
They
there's
use OpenBSD's PF instead of FreeBSD's PF.
all right.
Even though it's
I'll give
based
you.
on
I'll give you that.
FreeBSD.
I'll give you that. But there's also OPN Sense, which was that fork from PF Sense.
Oh,
you might
yeah.
want to look into it too. So you got some homework. All right.
Well, yeah. All right. Next up is Netrunner 14.1, which is built on Kubuntu's with KDE 4.14. Yeah, that's all I know about it.
Well, I know a couple other things about it. They've got both a 64-bit and a 32-bit version available, which is kind of nice because some distros, I don't know if you've noticed, but some distros now are only releasing 64-bit versions, which is a little annoying to me because I've got one of the little test machines at home is a 32-bit, and I still want to be able to use it in that fashion. But
Mary,
yeah,
you only have till 2038. You really need to start thinking about upgrading.
I'll probably be dead by then. But
No. We're all living forever.
all right, they and the KDE software compilation has gone up to, and that may have been mentioned at DistroWatch, gone up to 4.14. I think that's that's kind of about it, I guess.
All right.
Oh, going back to PF Sense, one thing, and because it's a web-based distro for managing your firewall and all that router stuff, they said due to CSS and JavaScript changes, they advise forcing the browser to clear its cache to reload the pages after an update if you've got it in place. When I saw that, and I'm going to go off topic for just a little bit here, you guys. I've noticed
we never go off.
after I've upgraded to Firefox, I've noticed that there are links now. I try to click on them and they don't work. And I'm thinking that I'm going to have to maybe just clear the cache or something. I don't know if it's JavaScript. I'm not sure why, but when I saw that little mention there, that kind of made me think, well, maybe that's why some of those aren't working. So,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe they're just broken.
Well, that could be too. That could be too. All right. We're
All
going
right.
back on track.
Well, next up on the 24th, we have IP Fire 2.15 Core 686. And that's their latest stable for, like we were just talking about, firewalls. And what's nice is you can run them on really low powered equipment. But as what I am seeing, for modern internet connections, you may want to go with a faster computer.
Well, Tony, you're eventually going to have to retire that 486.
Is that what you're running it on?
No.
Oh,
It's a P3 1 gig with
All right.
512 megs of RAM. It's like the same
A
thing as
P3,
Raspberry
it
Pi.
might as well be.
oh
a
my God, that is a
486.
486.
I think it's 14 years old. I think it's from
Wow.
2001.
Oh my God.
And it's still running.
Yeah. The battery's still good on it.
I
That's
just-
why I haven't gotten rid of it, because the battery. You can recondition the battery in the BIOS. So
Wow.
2 or 3 times over that I've used that same battery, and you do the reconditioning, and it goes from like 10 minutes battery life to 4 hours of battery life. Yeah, it's really cool.
Wow, I'm impressed.
But it's because it's the old style, not lithium ion, but the
So lead
previous
acid.
battery. Yeah,
Okay.
lead acid batteries.
Okay.
Where lithium ion you can't do that way.
Well, and once you pull it out from that duty, you can always throw Puppy Linux or some other really low resource distro on it, and
I could throw my puppy on it. I'm just joking. No, I
Right.
don't know. I probably won't do anything with it. I'll
All
probably
right.
recycle it.
Yep. Okay.
But all right. And then last on our list for this morning is 4M Linux. It's 11.0, which is their updated project for lightweight desktops. and it's featuring the JWM window manager. Isn't that the Joe's window manager?
Yeah.
Yeah, Joe's window manager.
Yeah. I'd like to meet Joe sometime.
I want to buy him
Well,
a beer.
Yeah, well, let's interview him. And for anyone who's interested in trivia, the 4M stand for maintenance because they've got a System Rescue Live CD, multimedia because they've got one of those, mini server using the init daemon, and then mystery because they also have a games version. I mean, they've got 4M Doom, which I think was just released not too long ago. Uh, just a number of different things.
That's funny.
So that's
All
why
right.
that's where the 4M comes from.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. So
All right. So
we'll have to find out what the 4Q OS, the 4Qs are. Quick, quiet.
All right. All right.
Okay.
So we're going on to the top 5 of the week. All right. Are you ready, Matt?
I'm ready.
All right. So number 5, we have Handy Linux with 1298.
And trending up.
Number 4, we have Manjaro with 1343.
And trending up.
And number 3, we have Debian with 1503.
And trending up.
Number 2 is Ubuntu with 1917.
And trending up.
And in the number 1 spot is Mint
Gotta love that minty goodness.
with 2316.
And trending up.
Hey, what's number 6?
Oh, number 6 is Makalulu.
Oh, Makalulu.
Yeah, Tony.
You've got to be doing that on purpose by now,
Yeah.
Tony.
And coming in at a robust 23, we've got PCBSD at 562 and trending up. FreeBSD is at 32 with 434 and trending down. I'm adding my own BSD segment to this.
Right.
Well, where Dragonfly? Where's Open? Where's Net? Where are they at, Mary?
OpenBSD is number 73 at 175. And GhostBSD is at 86. Ah, they're so low.
Dragonfly,
I don't know where Dragonfly,
NetBSD.
yeah, 79. So
NetBSD.
I think PCBSD is the highest BSD.
Minix is number 96.
Minix doesn't really count as BSD.
No,
No, it's
no.
not even Linux. All right. You know what? I have while we're on the
Dragonfly, did we
distros-
say that was at 78 or 9?
Yeah, I think I briefly said
We
that.
can't find Net though, can we?
No.
Yeah, no, it's not on the list. Anyway, so while we're on distros, before we leave the distro stuff, I heard a conversation on another podcast, Everyday Linux, and where they don't talk a whole lot about Linux. And they're kind of yeah,
They've got it in the name of the show.
right. And yeah, they make a joke about that throughout the thing. It's they call it the was it life in the context of Linux, where they're
okay.
working with Windows servers and Windows clients and then Linux and how they work it all in together, whatever. But one of their complaints is that there's so many Linux distros out there, and it's like because you can, then you can just roll your own Linux distro.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well, blame SUSE, the SUSE Build Studio. You can just roll them out there every hour.
Right. But my thought is, what if you do, instead of rolling a whole new distro, do like a meta package instead. So you have your base Debian
Mm-hmm.
that you're gonna, instead of rolling out like 4M or whatever, it's based on Debian.
Mm-hmm.
You install Debian, and then in the install process, all you say is now install that meta package, which is a bunch of other packages that it installed to make the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, then we'd have a bunch of meta packages. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know why I said that.
I don't know. It was just a thought I had.
Yeah, they don't have that problem in the
Pretty
BSD
much,
community.
they already do that, Tony.
Yeah,
They've
I've
got
seen.
these big giant meta packages. They're called distributions.
Thanks, Matt.
Well, Matt, you just shot him down like that. That's just
All
no,
right.
but I know what you mean. There are and that's, I think, one of the problems when I try to review, pick a Linux distribution to review, is that Ubuntu is very popular base, and so there are so many distros that are based on Ubuntu that I don't want to just keep doing one after another, because it's the experience is largely the same. So I have to try to dig. And oh, by the way, I did find this distro called Dyson OS, and I thought, oh my God, just the name, I'll have a bunch of vacuum cleaner jokes.
Right.
And I ran into some difficulty with it, so I just threw that off to the side and ended up with the distro that I'll be reviewing. So
All right.
as soon as you're ready, just let me know.
Yep, I think we're ready. So, Mary, what distro are you reading this week?
Well, the Linux distribution for this week's review comes from the land of croissants and berets. It was very convenient that this distribution appeared on DistroWatch this past week. Actually, you could say it was very handy that it appeared when it did, and that's its name, Handy Linux. So would Handy Linux live up to its name, or would I end up feeling like I had two right feet? Let's find out. First, the vitals. Of course, the name is Handy Linux. The maintainer, I think I'm calling him Team Handy. The distro's latest birthday, well, 1.8 was released on January 18th, 2015. It's derived from Debian Wheezy. The kernel that it uses, at least in the version that I tested, is kernel 3.2.0-4, and the reviewed desktop is XFCE. Handy Linux is a 1.2 gigabyte DVD that boots to a grub menu. And this is from the live environment, first of all. And by the way, I've got it on this machine here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, in a virtual box. Booting options are live testing or install the hard drive in either French or English. I selected live and also English. and before Handy Linux booted, I was prompted for a keyboard selection. And the default is a US English, which is probably derived from the boot menu selection I made. Booting completes with a welcome to Handy Linux window and brief instructions regarding the location of the application menu, how to shut down the computer, as well as how to access documentation. If you happen to click the Absolute Beginner button at the bottom, you don't go to the Absolute Vodka site, which was very disappointing. But I did click the Absolute Beginner button at the bottom, and I did that for purely research purposes. And I ended up at a local web page with a tutorial that, dare I say it, is very handy to have. It's a combination of clearly delineated text and very helpful animated GIFs or GIFs, showing tasks and activities. And I really like the fact that when you scrolled this web page, they had the little animated graphics that showed you different actions and what would result. I'd never really seen that before, as far as downloadable, or not downloadable, but live tutorials in a distro. I thought it was very helpful.
Yeah.
Sounds nifty.
Yeah. Handy Linux leaves no stone unturned for the absolute beginner. The Handy Linux desktop was clean, no icons for installing or documentation. I mean, you already had it when that little window pops up at the start. There's a single panel that spanned the bottom of the screen with various icons for battery, sound, calendar, networking, the usual notifications. Checking the launch menu revealed an application dashboard complete with 6 tabs. So when you click in the bottom, the lower left, this little window pops up, and you've got a tab for internet, a tab for places, multimedia, games, and then you've got one for Office. And Matt, I'm proud to tell you that LibreOffice comes pre-installed.
All right. And then it's a desktop distro.
And then the final tab is called Raiders. It includes system tools, terminal, application list. You can configure a printer from this area, but the tab name made absolutely no sense to me. Perhaps it's the French word for system tasks, or they're just fans of the LA Raiders American football team. I have no idea, but I went into their forum, and there was some other English user that said, hey, this is a great distro, but you should change the name Raiders to something else. So I'm not sure what, something got lost in the translation, I guess is what I'll say. And also, this particular little launch menu is is helpful in the beginning, but I later found it a little annoying because I really wanted to just jump in. And what I discovered is that if you want to pull up the full launch menu of all the applications, you've got to go into this little dashboard and then go into Raiders. And that's where it is. So what are the defaults? Well, the browser is Iceweasel. The Office suite, as I just mentioned, is LibreOffice. And from the dashboard, you click on the LibreOffice link, and it will open up that the LibreOffice dashboard. And from there, you can open up the individual applications. The mail client is, I thought it was Gmail at first, but it just looks like that. It's a Gmail-like icon, but when you open it up, it will present IceDev, where you can set up an existing account or create a new email account. And then the file manager is Thunar, of course. I think is the default for XFCE. Now the install process. I actually went through the install process several times, both in a virtual machine via VirtualBox and on my Dell testing laptop. During the VirtualBox install, there was a message that appeared partway through that said no common CD-ROM was detected. Now, I found that to be very odd because I was running it off the DVD on the host system, and for some reason it wasn't recognizing it. So anyway, I tried several times to get past the sticking point to see if I could actually install without it, but I wasn't able to until the next day. So yesterday morning I tried again, and I was able to install it. So
Wow.
I can't figure out what was going on there, but I assumed that the DVD reader was already mounted, but apparently I remounted that DVD reader on the host on the laptop, and then I was able to get past that point. And did I mention my laptop runs PCBSD?
You may have, Mary.
Anyway, the rest of the install was uneventful. I selected the defaults, including using the entire virtual disk as a single partition, and then it just gave me one partition, little swap area, and that was basically it. Now, as an aside, I also tried to install it on the Dell laptop that I use for testing, but it got hung up on the Broadcom chip, telling me that I needed 3 different files. Now, it was unfortunate I couldn't really get it installed on that without those files, but what I did appreciate is the fact that Handy Linux very helpfully gave me the names of the files, so I could have probably inserted a USB drive with those files, copied them over, and then would have completed the install. But I tried to get past that point by plugging in a network cable and rebooting, but it still saw the wireless chip, and it still kept telling me, hey, you need these. So I basically I gave up on trying to get it installed on that, and then went with the virtual install, which worked fine. And then, of course, it asks the typical questions, language, keyboard, those kinds of things. But once I got installed, rebooting was easy. And after it finished, I was presented with a screen welcoming me to Handy Linux. It's the same as a live environment, basically an XFCE desktop on top of Debian. First thing I did is check for updates. There were security updates from Debian which were applied. The repositories are Debian, Wheezy, and then there are, I think, about 3 or 4 Handy Linux repositories. One for compies, which I never really got in and played around with it. Been there, done that. I just wanted to kind of experience it in its basic form.
Ooh, my Windows wobble.
You know what's so funny? When that first became available, I had that going, but you never really. The only time I ever used it when I wanted to show off for Windows people.
Yeah,
that's about it. You know, like, look what we can do. Oh my God. It still wasn't Year of the Linux desktop. But anyway, I found the environment to be quite workable, although the dashboard menu with its training wheel-like feel became a little annoying to me. I poked around and found a panel icon in the settings area, and from there, I found that I could change what opened when I clicked that icon in the lower left corner of the panel. So that was good to know. Now, where Handy Linux really shines are the applications that are included. I was pretty impressed. And again, you get to those from the default install. You get to those on the Raiders tab, and the application list includes installed programs such as Iceweasel, LibreOffice, etc. But in addition, there are programs that are on the list that are really they run scripts that open little windows and do different things or accomplish different tasks for you. So it's kind of a combination of your traditional programs and then these scripts. But new users would never know there's scripts. So let's see here. Let's see. The apps span 9 different categories. You've got accessories, education, games, graphics, internet, multimedia, office, settings, and system. But interestingly enough, no Raiders there. It said system, and I really think they need to go back and make that change. Let's see here. In accessories, one thing I noted they have that nice bulk rename utility. They also had something called Redshift, and what that does, it adjusts the color temperature of your screen. You know, it gives it a little more warmer view, or you can have that more bluish tinge, which I prefer the more warm view. So
Right.
anyway, so that's there. There's also a Windows-like task manager to allow you to track processes, and then that also has Slings Cold, which is different than well, it's made to look like Slingshot, which is the yeah, I think it's that menu, that full launch menu that opens up across your entire screen. No, Matt, the ones you hate.
Oh, I'm like thinking,
Slingshot,
what? This
Slings-
sounds horrible.
Slings Cold, Slings Hot. So anyway, yeah, so it's the XFCE versions of Slingshot for the KDE desktop. And then they've got the typical utilities, writing a note, searching files, opening a terminal. They also have something called Handy Try, and this is an automatic sorting tool. Now, it only sorts files, but you can set it up to do a bunch of different sorting at once, and it runs from a bash script. It's in user bin Handy Try. And I opened it up and looked at it, and yeah, it's a bash
Because
script.
learning the sort command's just too hard.
Well, I think for a beginner it is, and plus it gives you a lot of options that you can do at the same time. So yeah, it is too hard for a beginner. Let's see here, education. They had one thing in there, LibreOffice Math. That was it. A little light on the education. Graphics though did have the Image Magic graphical interface. I was kind of impressed to see that. Although I prefer to use it from the command line. I think for new people, they would appreciate the capabilities that you get from Image Magic if you use it from the graphic interface. And then the internet area had Google Plus, LinkedIn, and then they had something called mPartage, which is a file share utility that will let you serve a file provided that your network is properly configured for it. What I did is I tried it, and it presents two URLs. There's an internal network one, which is a 10.0 network, which is not my network. But again, this was from a virtual machine, so it was probably spawning it from there. And then there was it was able to detect my public IP address, and then it said, hey, you can also get it from here at this port. So I thought, can you? So I went out to a different machine and tried it, and no, I could not get in and get it. I would have to, I suspect, open that port and make it available. But anyway, I think if you want to go ahead and set it up, it can be a helpful utility for serving up a quick file. And then there's also an installer for TeamViewer 10, which I've never used, but I'm well aware of what it can do for you, which allows people to take a look at your desktop if you're troubleshooting. The multimedia had all the things you'd expect, including a CD ripper, odd convert, VLC media player, etc. I mentioned the Office suite and the settings. It has beaucoup utilities. Get it, beaucoup? That's French.
I got
For a
it,
lot.
I got it.
Allowing you to configure the look and feel of the desktop, file management notifications, power management, the works. I mean, it's all there. There's just a ton of things in there. And I didn't really take the time to go in and explore each one, but definitely will keep you busy for a while. And then lastly, we have system. Now, there's some overlap with settings between the settings category as well as system. And that's kind of to be expected because when you're looking for something, well, is it settings or is it system? I mean, sometimes it's hard to say, but the nice thing is regardless of where you look, you're likely to find it. So my rating of Handy Linux is 3.2. I found it, for the most part, to be, aside from those little glitchy things that I experienced, I think if somebody has, an Intel wireless chip, they probably would not have any difficulty installing this. But I give it a 3.2 cups of coffee because it seemed to pretty much do what I needed to have it do. And it had a wealth of apps for new users. And I thought it worked quite well. For a non-French or for a French distro as the primary language, I thought it handled things pretty well.
They got the translations pretty good,
yeah.
sound.
Yeah, well, except for Raiders, I just never figured that one out. And I think one thing they would have been helpful, and I didn't really see it, were maybe a little set of instructions for changing that launch menu, because it's kind of like clicking it and just seeing recently used programs. Well, sometimes I like to see everything and then just go find my stuff. But I think for new users who tend to use those common things, it's perfect. So there it is, Handy Linux.
All right.
Well, all right.
Okay.
All right.
I think. Wake up, everyone.
I'm sorry. I was doing a little bit of show notes, then I'm reading through the IRC chat.
All right, that's good.
Earlier we were talking about the privacy and the,
Mhm.
but the, I don't know how to say his name, Aro Ginglafer or something. He's in Scotland, but he says that we were spot on with the discussion about the Germany
Rowing
and
golfer?
surveillance.
Rowing
golfer. Oh,
rowing
that,
golfer.
that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is in IRC.
It's in the Oddcast Planet.
Oh, I was gonna say
Yeah.
it's not in IRC.
Right.
IRC.
But he says we were spot on. A huge hangover from the days of the Stasi, the secret police.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. VPS.
He also says, thank you, that he only listens because of you, Mary.
It's that voice.
Yeah,
Must be.
it's those hard-hitting distro reviews. All right. Well, I guess we're going to move on to our next segment, which is the.
Which is the news.
That's right.
The news.
Do you know what you said with your dot dashes, Tony? No.
I'm probably.
I was going to
cussing
make
out
something up, but
somebody.
I won't.
So,
right.
Matt, did you find anything this week?
I did.
All right, Matt.
I have two stories. The first one is Google just made it easier to run Linux on your Chromebook.
Oh,
And this one's at PC World.
excellent.
And it says, have you ever installed a full desktop Linux distro on your Chromebook? I have. It isn't all that hard. It's not. But it is a bit more complex than it should be. It is. New features in the latest version of Chrome OS will make dipping into an alternative operating system easier. For example, you'll be able to easily just do a live boot, because you can't live boot a USB now with Chromebooks.
Oh,
But
really?
the new Chromebook can live boot a USB.
And what model is this, or is there?
It's
What
the
do you have
Chrome
to?
OS
Okay.
that's allowing it.
Okay. But you got to check to make sure that the Chromebook you're buying has that OS.
No,
or is it
you
just...
can drop into developer mode on any Chromebook.
Oh, okay.
When they first came out, you couldn't. When they first came out on some of the models,
Mhm.
you had to actually open them and flip switches.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
But
Yeah.
nobody makes you do that anymore.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
And then my next news story is Linus Torvalds to patch the kernel for a Witcher 2 problem. And this one was on Softpedia. And Linus is actually going to roll his sleeves up and write the patch himself. Linus Torvalds is not known to interfere with other projects than the Linux kernel, and it must be something really special to get him involved. Well, it looks like the Linux port to The Witcher 2 Assassins of Kings proved to be interesting enough.
So he rolled up his sleeves.
Yep. They have a mantra for the kernel developers that's do not break user space under any circumstances. And this is what Linus had to say about it. He says, it looks like LDT empty is buggy on 64-bit kernels. I suspect that the behavior was inconsistent before the tightening change and that it is now broken as a result. I will write a patch. Serves me right for not digging all the way down the mess of macros. And then I also have a link that's in the show notes on the website to his GitHub conversation with those developers and about how he's going to write that patch.
Is it printable?
It's printable, but it's very technical.
Okay.
So
that's not related to. I think I saw in the news this past week that there's something maintained in the kernel for one user or something.
not there,
I didn't.
there's
have
one
time
known user, but I'm sure
Okay.
there's more than one.
Okay.
It's EISA.
Okay.
And Linus has always said, as long as there's one user out there still using it, it's gonna stay. So, because they wanted to take EISA support out, and this guy's piped up and said, "You can't take EISA out."
Because I'm still using the Linux 2.2 kernel.
So,
Wow.
no, he's using a current kernel, but he does a lot of
Yeah.
work with old equipment, and he needs to communicate with them, and he
Oh.
needs that EISO support.
Well, that's pretty cool. I mean, that he'll leave it in there, and I'm sure there are others,
Oh, yeah.
but because he's the squeaky wheel, I mean, he's the one that's going to get heard.
All right.
So, excellent. Thanks, Matt.
So, and that's where part of the name of the episode came from.
Yes.
Yeah, rolling up sleeves.
Rolling up sleeves,
That's right.
because Linus is right in a patch.
That's right. Which he
Right.
doesn't do.
Not very often.
All right. I found a couple things. One isn't really news, but something I found that was interesting. And it's what's the best hard drives? And a lot of times you get like fluff articles
Western
and things
Digital.
Oh,
like
is this the data center one where they
Yeah,
did those
this.
tests?
Backblaze.
Is that
Yeah,
Yeah,
good?
this is
It
like
was, I thought it was
true
like 2 years
numbers of-
old.
they
This has
went
been
no
around- this study's been around for a long time.
yeah, but this article is current through 2014.
Right, but they used the data from that study. I guarantee.
And then just added
Part
the
of it
last
was.
year.
No, they said from this year, from like 2012, 2013, this is the data we have. From 2013, 2014, this is the data we have. So it's current. And
So what are
all the
they?
way up through the
I'm
end
on
of
the edge
last
of my
year.
seat.
so
Don't let me fall off.
No, because at
Well,
work,
the
when
reason-
this first came out, when this first came out at work, we totally changed our policy on when we retire drives.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Wow.
because they're saying how no, it's a data center, it's Backblaze,
Yeah.
and they go through. Let me find the number. 41,000 disk drives, or they have 41,000 disk drives running.
41,000.
Yeah, so
Wow.
That's a couple.
so you can say that's pretty
That's
relevant
a
or
pretty broad.
accurate
Yeah,
numbers.
statistically
know,
valid
yeah.
sample.
That's more than us.
Exactly.
We probably have about 25,000
Oh yeah,
Wow.
disk drives.
wow. So they said, and that's up. So they said 2000 as of December 13th, 2014.
So who was
Or,
first?
The end of 2014, they had the 41,000. So this is a current article.
Yeah.
And
Who's on
they
first?
said that's up from year before of 27,000.
Mary just wants you to get the.
I just
punchline.
wanted.
All
Yeah.
right, all right.
Prolong it as long as possible, Tony.
Although the numbers, they
right.
go through all the info and stuff, and it's not like numbered like this is drive number 1, this is drive number 2.
Right.
Like
Mhm.
they don't rank it like that. You have
No.
to kind of like
You
read
gotta
through
read
the
the whole
data
thing.
Mhm.
and make up your own decision. But they do go along saying that the best drives are the 4 terabyte drives, not the 3 terabyte. So if you're thinking about getting a new drive, don't go with the 3 terabyte because they have the 3 terabyte has like a 9% failure rate. Where-
9,
9%.
regardless of vendor. I mean, who? Okay, which vendor had
Yeah,
the best?
regardless.
I've not heard one
And-
vendor mentioned.
They said the 4% terabyte or 4 terabyte have
Uh-huh.
like a 2.5% failure rate.
Actually,
So it's-
Mary, what this study found was that the vendor was fairly meaningless.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I always thought, based on some maybe anecdotal information I had seen, I always thought that Western Digital drives were a little better than, say,
with everybody
Seagate.
thinks, but
And
that's what we think-
Hitachi was
that's what
also
we
good.
thought it worked too until we read this study.
Really?
Yep.
Although they do say that the 6 terabyte Seagate drive
Is
has
the
a
worst.
0% failure rate. Although if you think about 6% or 6 terabyte drive, that's
Yeah. How
For-
much of that? How many of those are they using?
the 45 drives.
Yeah.
So it's not a very
Large
broad
samples.
or large sample,
Mhm.
right?
Okay.
But out of their Seagate desktop, I don't know what 4 terabyte drive, they have 12,000 of those running, and that's at a 2.6 error rate. So they go back and forth between HGST drives, which is the old Hitachi drives, or HGST bought out Hitachi or something. They have the Seagate, and they have multiple models of like there's Seagate Barracudas and Seagate Desktop, and they also have the Western Digital drives. But yeah, just as Matt said, it's a big range of everything, and
Well, see, now I have to admit, I looked at the pictures. And I saw that spike there for Seagate, and I immediately thought, "Oh my God, I'm getting rid of my Seagate
the
drives."
Seagate 3 terabyte drive.
But
has a
they're only
40%
500 gig. they're only 500 gig drives, so
Right.
very, very small.
But a 40% failure rate for the 3 terabyte drive. That's huge.
That is. I think it has to do with the number 3 because you remember back when we were talking earlier about the failure in that SATA 1, SATA 2, and SATA 4, but SATA 3 didn't work.
No.
That distro, which distro update was? One of the distros.
That's the SATA port.
No.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm talking about it's the number 3. There's something about
Oh,
it.
That's
No.
probably it.
I don't know. I was grasping at straws. All right. Huh.
No.
All right. So I thought that was really interesting.
I think it is too.
All right. And then
And now I understand why you weren't really saying any vendors because it's kind of irrelevant. I'm thinking, oh my God. All right. I don't care. I still like Western Digital drives.
yeah, they're not bad. I'd still buy
The red
them,
ones are
sure.
Right.
the red ones.
And the Western Digital RE drives, the enterprise drives,
Mhm.
they're really worth the money. We don't use them on all.
Those
of
are the
our-
color coded drives.
No.
They got like red, and
I
I
know.
think if
They
you're
got
putting
red,
together
green,
a
blues,
RAID system,
black, yeah.
ZFS, if you're using ZFS, the
No,
red are the
they're
good.
the RE drives. They're not part of the.
Matt's referring
Okay.
to RE drives, which is what are they, eSATA? Or
No, they're just
E-
enterprise grade drives. They're still just.
I could still purchase it, but I'll pay more.
Yeah, way more.
Okay, like
yeah.
how much more? Double?
About $100 a drive more.
Yeah, but if it's gonna last for years, that's nothing.
Well, the others last for years too.
I don't know. Okay.
Right. What Mary's referring to is like the red is
Yeah, the red
is
the
really
green, the
ideal
blues.
for right.
Mhm.
We also use a lot of Western Digital blues,
Hmm.
blue
Yeah.
drives and black drives.
Mhm.
And we used to use the green drives, the Western Digital greens, but for some reason they just failed, like poof, going out of style. So we
Really?
stopped
Yeah, it's
using
like
them.
low power ones. The green,
Mhm.
the red is for is
So what you
ideal
save
for
on the
home
power, you
NAS
make up on the.
Yeah,
stuff.
we don't use any red on it.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so.
Yeah, we use blue and black.
Yeah, blue is what just your average drive, like 7,200 RPM or something.
I don't. They're
And
and the
black are
black
supposed
is
to be the speedy.
1500 RPMs, and then the RE drives are 1500, I think, or maybe they're only 72. I don't know. But
Great.
they're yellow and black, the RE drives.
All right.
Okay.
All right. The next one I have is. I'm sorry, Mary.
No, go ahead.
I
Why
have.
be sorry?
Do you remember Kim.com?
Yes.
He ran the mega
It's on trial
upload.
right
And,
now.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, he's trying to not get extradited to US.
Yes.
But he started up a new service.
What is
And
it?
It's called Mega NZ is the website.
New Zealand?
I think so. And it's encrypted file cloud storage. So, and they said it encrypts on the server, and if you lose your password, you're screwed. You can't get any of your data back. So don't forget your password. So that's one way I know that, or what
Mhm.
makes sense to me that it's a truly encrypted system is that it uses that password as the private key password, and if you don't have that, then you can't get it back. So that's as long as what they're saying on their website is true, then it's good encryption.
It's actually all in plain text. They're reading it all.
Anyway, so what brought me to them is that they're going to be launching a encrypted video calling chat system. So you can do video chat encrypted, so nobody can.
Drop on your
eavesdrop.
Snapchat.
That's right.
You're never mind. I'm not even gonna go there.
Did you ever go to Chat Roulette, Mary?
No. And it sounds like a site I would not be well served to go to.
I don't think so. No.
Right.
Things happen on Chat Roulette like happened to you that time when you.
Yeah. It's like men behaving badly is
Yes,
how I'll call it.
Very badly.
Oh man.
Okay, well, we're gonna keep this a family show and move on. So anyway,
All right.
Tony.
So it looks really interesting, and they don't have that encrypted thing yet. They don't have that
Mhm.
service available yet, but the file, the file storage is available now. I signed up for it, and
All right.
it's really easy to use.
Don't forget your password.
That's right.
All right. I got a couple of. Oh, I'm sorry. You done?
I am done.
All right. I've got a couple of items. I think last year I think we talked briefly about Bodhi Linux and the fact that it was going dormant, or at least it was, i- the the main champion for it had left the project.
Mm.
But apparently, he's come back to it
right.
recently. Yeah, and uh, from the article, and this was from I actually both my articles are from phosphorus.com, not to be confused with phosphorus, which is not the site. But apparently, he was a little nostalgic for it. It's the kind of thing, where you're doing something and it's just a grind, kind of like this podcast. No, I'm kidding. But then once you're in and doing it, it's just fun. But anyway, so it became very time consuming for him. So he left, of course, and then he missed it. And so his schedule's also changed a little bit. So he's going to be able to devote some more time. And I think he's also going to have others help him, or at least participate to a greater degree. So it looks like Bodhi Linux is going to be coming out with. We'll probably see it on DistroWatch, as a matter of fact. So
All right.
I thought that was great to see that was. And actually, I should do a review. So when it's released, I'll do a review of it. So that was one story, and then did you guys see the story about Windows 10 and how they're going to be I didn't know if this was for real or not, but they're going to
Free.
be. Yeah.
Free
upgrade.
upgrade for Windows 7 and Windows 8.1.
Yeah.
Well, the way I saw it worded was free upgrade for a year.
Right,
Is
the
it,
first year.
Is it a subscription model now?
No, for the first year that Windows 10 is available, they will let Windows 7 and Windows 8.1 users upgrade for free.
Huh.
But then after then, they're
Pay up.
Yeah,
Okay.
Interesting.
if you don't take advantage of it in that first year, you're screwed.
Something I noticed too, in the article, the presenter, he had there was this big screen, of course, behind him for slides.
Yeah.
Did you see the color of it?
Yeah, the new Windows color. Well, that's the Windows
It's like the
8 color.
blue screen of death color.
Yes.
Right.
We're just gonna get you used to seeing that blue color.
Yeah, yeah. And anyway, but this other article I had was Microsoft can't sell laptops or phones. Yeah, well, essentially, they are. It has a little bit to do with what we just talked about, but laptops with Chrome OS, the phone market, I just don't see how they're ever really going to be relevant in the phone market at all. So anyway, there's a link to that article. The other thing I wanted to mention too, and I posted this on Google Plus earlier this week. There apparently is some kind of service that allows that you can sign up for to rent out your hard drive to anonymous users.
Yeah, I saw that.
What?
I'm like, what? Who the hell would do that?
Who would do that is right. And I see, and I think when I posted the link to the article I saw, I said I had to check my calendar to see if it was April 1st, because that just sounds like an April Fool's article. I mean,
liability issues.
Yes.
I'm not going to be responsible for some pervert's kiddie porn on my laptop.
Oh my God.
Exactly.
Holy
Yeah,
crap.
that's a really bad idea.
It is a bad idea. So anyway, I saw that and just wanted to make a mention of it. So anyway, but those are the articles that I have. Just let me know when you're ready for my KDE corner.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, Mary, we're ready for your KDE corner.
Say it like you mean it. All right, just a couple things. Their PZip 5.5.3 was released the last couple of I think it was last week. So I'll have a link to that. That's a nice little archiving utility. I like it when I can get it to work. I like it better than the graphical one that
Arc.
Yeah. So just a little note. And you can also run it in Windows and Linux, of course. Also, Plasma. There was a blog post, the quintessential breakdown of Plasma 5.2. And what I really liked about this particular posting is that it kind of walked you through the whole KDE. KDE has been around for, oh my gosh, probably almost 20 years.
Yeah, long time.
Long time. And it kind of walked you through the evolution, those dark days when went from 3 to 4. Oh my God. That was the time when I was seriously open to switching.
I left KDE for a long time.
Long time. But anyway, and how they had to do that in order to make for the they had the big picture long term outlook. And now with the plasma, that whole plasma 5.2 or just that frameworks that they put in place, it's really long, kind of that long term perspective, and it's paying off now for them.
Ready, it wasn't.
No,
it needed more development.
it did.
I mean, it was definitely a beta release.
It was dark,
It
late alpha maybe.
was late alpha. Okay.
But anyway, so I found the article kind of interesting because it just sort of talked about the reason why they did all of this. So there'll be a link to that in the show notes.
All right.
That's my stuff.
All right, thank you, Mary.
And next up,
Next up,
the Linux
The what?
convention scene.
The who?
You want to
oh, yeah,
move to that?
convention scene. I think it's a
The
good.
where?
idea.
Where? Huh? What?
The Linux convention scene. You ever heard of it?
Nope.
All right. I have two, and yes, it's time for the Linux convention scene. This is where we tell you where to go.
I tell you where to go a lot more often than that.
For the latest Linux news presentations
That's not where I'm sending you.
and all that cool stuff.
All right.
All right. So coming up next weekend is FOSDEM. And that's a free event that offers open source communities a place to meet, share ideas, and collaborate. Now, unfortunately, you're going to need a plane ticket if you're here in North America because it's in Brussels.
What does FOSDEM stand for, Mary?
He's over there laughing, so I'm sure he's going to make something.
No, I have
up.
no idea. I'm
I don't
asking
know.
you a legitimate question, but I was pretty sure that you didn't know either.
All right.
Tony, I think, is Googling it
I'm
frantically.
trying
Google it. Put what does FOSDEM stand for? Abbreviation, and then use the word abbreviation, and that will tell you.
You could do it with define colon also.
Okay. Oh, that's a good one too. See, we're turning this little segment into a learning experience. All right, but anyway, so it's going to take place at the ULB campus on, as I said, Saturday and Sunday, January 31st and February 1st. So, and again, that's in Brussels, Belgium. Also, we've got Scale 13X coming up February 19th through the 22nd, 2015, at the Hilton Los Angeles Airport.
Yes, friend of the show, Lord Drakenblut,
That's right.
put in a proposal for a talk at Scale and got rejected.
Oh, well, I know he's got that little fun thing. I contributed
he's still
to
trying
that.
to go.
I think he's getting pretty
But,
close. He should have.
But yeah, they rejected his talk proposal.
Well, I'm sure he'll lobby for once he gets out there. I'm assuming he's still going. He'll be able to get that all figured out, and he'll talk next
Got
time.
his feeding tube removed last week.
That's great.
It is.
So, anyway,
Right.
but aren't you going to ask me what SCALE stands for?
I know what Scale stands for.
Southern
So
California Linux Expo. I was just hoping you would say that, and I thought, oh, I'm going to be so ready.
We're already, yeah.
All right, do you know what it is?
It is. FOSDEM is the Free Open Source Software Developers European meeting.
Okay.
So there, Matt.
So yeah,
Anyway,
software developer stuff.
yeah, let me just finish. Thank you for that, Tony. But just a quick comment on Scale. It is, as I said, February 19th to the 22nd, and it is actually it's one of the first major conferences of the year, aside from FOSDEM.
Also one of the oldest.
Yes, they expect to host more than 100 exhibitors this year, along with nearly 130 sessions, tutorials, and special events. I had to go to that one of these times.
Yes, it's a huge event.
Now that I'm retired, I can just go.
You can just go to all these conventions, Mary. You can be our convention person.
I could.
Yeah.
Live reporting from all these conventions.
I could wear a little press hat,
Yeah.
Mr. Microphone. Oh, Lord help us. Okay. Anyway, so that, everyone, is the February Linux convention scene.
All right. Talking about Linux conventions.
Did you find more?
No, it's not.
I went for the major ones.
But in April, or I don't know if it's May. I don't know what the dates are. Usually it spans April to May.
Oh,
PenguinCon.
I'm glad you
Yeah.
mentioned that.
If you want to still get in the pre-order, the lower price,
Yes.
you have to register by January 31st.
Yep. I never
Ooh.
ever do that and wind up buying it at the door for $50.
Right. Well, it's 45 right now.
Oh, is that
No,
the?
they changed it. It's 45 right now. It's 50 beginning January or February 1st, and
It's
it'll
gonna be
be
at the door.
60. 60
Oh my
at the
god!
door.
It went up $10.
All right, Matt. You
I'll
better.
be paying 60 at the door then.
I don't. You gotta get at least 6 beers out of it, and then it'll be worth it.
Yep.
You get free
But
beer.
that
at
is
the
why PenguinCon is so
concert.
expensive. They feed you and give you free beer all weekend long in the con suite.
That explains.
right.
That explains the odd array of characters we see there. Because it's a combination Linux convention and
And science
fiction convention. So,
That's right.
and by the way, amongst the three of us, are there some presenters here?
I'll be giving 3 presentations: Bash 101, Bash 102, and Regex.
Oh, I was going to say, and Bash 103.
All
Tony,
right.
what about you?
Yeah, I'm gonna be doing one. It's gonna be on practical home networking with Linux routers.
Cool. And-
So yeah,
And I'm giving a presentation too.
All right, what is yours?
Swim with dolphin.
swim with
Oh
dolphin.
my.
All right.
It's not swimming either because I don't wear bathing suits. I don't put them on. But what it is, no, actually, I'm going to be. At first, I was going to be just really showing people how to create a service menu, the KDE or Dolphin service menu. But then I thought, I'm going to broaden it out a little bit because there's a few other things I want to show people that you can do with Dolphin that you might not be aware of.
I'll be attending that.
Okay, great.
When I use
Oh
Dolphin,
wait, you're going to be are you going to be heckling me?
No, because
Okay.
what I use how I use Dolphin, I open it up. And then,
So do I.
And then I use the terminal at the bottom of the Dolphin.
Yeah.
I don't use the graphical part of it. I use the terminal.
Oh.
And it works.
Yes.
Because you can kind of cheat too, because you can have the terminal at the bottom. You can get to your directory really fast by clicking up above and then do your command line work down below. I mean, that's
I
how.
just use the terminal at the bottom.
Yeah, it's I'll tell you, it's just a great tool. So anyway, but that's what I'll be talking about, and that's one of the things I wanted to show people too. So Matt, maybe I'll be calling on you to provide some experience, comments. I mean, you'll provide them anyway. I just know you.
Okay.
All right.
No, you don't have to. I was just, yeah.
Maybe
I have
our
enough.
presentations will conflict.
Oh, they might. Oh, they're on the tech track. They won't.
Although Kevin's scheduling them, so I'm sure he's not going to schedule any of us at the same time. But speaking of Kevin, he said that he still has some open spots for some tech talks.
Yeah, so if you want to give a presentation and you're coming to PenguinCon, or if you need a reason to come to PenguinCon, send the proposal. Kevin O'Brien.
That's it. Yep. Or penguicon.org is the
Yep.
website. So check it out. You should come and hang out with us. And we'll also be doing the show there. So
We do every year.
yeah.
Mhm.
So Matt, you'll be doing actually 4 spots.
I'm actually think I'm doing 5 because I think I'm on a panel, which
Oh.
I haven't been totally
Really?
filled in on yet. Yes.
Wow.
Very
Wow,
cool.
Matt.
All right. So I think we're going on to Is It Alive?
Is it
Is
alive?
Bum 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 bum
Yeah.
bum bum.
Normally we have this nice little game show music, which we don't have. I hope that phone gets fixed.
I hope so too.
All right. Yes. Is it alive or is that a beret on your head?
It's a baseball cap.
All right. During this segment of the show, I challenge Matt and Tony to identify whether a Linux distro is alive or dead. Sometimes I twist the concept for our game show and challenge them to decide if the named entity is a Linux distribution or something else. I'm twisting it today and challenging them to decide whether the named distro is French. So I'll name it. You'll tell me if it's French or not. And then, as an added bonus, you have the opportunity to get points and say whether it's alive or dead.
All right.
Okay, and I get
Okay, let me see if I understand this.
Yes, Matt.
The main thing is to say whether it is French or not,
That's correct.
and then we get bonus if we identify alive or dead.
That's right.
All right, go ahead.
So if you get the nationality wrong, in other
you
words,
can't get
you can't get the
bonus.
bonus. So we're being tough.
All right.
All right.
All right.
I had to make the document so small so you guys can't read
Yeah,
it.
I'm
I'm
leaning
gonna-
I can
forward.
barely read it
I'm
myself.
turning away.
Forward here.
All right. Okay, the first one is System Rescue CD.
Not French,
You know,
I use
and
that.
alive.
and it is alive. Yeah.
System Rescue CD is a French distro
What?
based
Oh.
on Gen 2.
I'm using a French distro. Humanity.
Well, according to DistroWatch, it is.
Oh man, that's
I
zero
did
for
not
both
know
of us.
that.
Okay.
Well,
Uh,
obviously.
So
I
we're
didn't know
so you
that.
guys are tied, 0-0. All right, the next one is Zopics.
Yes, French.
No,
And I'm gonna say alive.
no, and dead.
All right, Zopics was a Linux distribution from France, derived from Knoppix. It was a live CD, blah blah blah. So it is French and it's dead. So Tony, you get a point.
All right.
The next one is Selks.
It's a yes, French, and yes, alive.
No, not French, and dead.
Selks is not a French distro and it's alive. So Matt, you get a point. So you guys are tied
Oh.
again, 1-1. Are you ready for the next one?
All right.
As ready as I'll ever be.
Mandos.
Mandos. Can I get a spelling, please?
MANDOWS. Mandos.
I'm gonna say yes, French, and alive.
I'm gonna say yes, French, and dead.
Mandos was a French live CD based on
Oh.
Mandrake Linux.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
When I saw Mandos, I just thought, I got to add this one. So, Tony, did you get any points out of
I
that?
got
You got
one.
one, and I
One.
got two.
Oh, so it's 3-2.
Yes,
no.
it is.
Okay, we're moving on to the next one. Tropics.
No.
I'm gonna
TROPPIX.
say no and alive.
I'm gonna say no and dead.
Tropics was a standalone Linux CD based on Debian, aimed at security professionals, penetration testers, and others. It is or was French.
Oh.
Oh, so neither of us. We
Okay.
Got no point.
The last one is FreeNAS.
No and alive.
Right. No and alive.
FreeNAS is a tiny FreeBSD-based operating system based on it
I
came
knew
from
that.
France.
I knew it was.
Yes, French guy. Yes.
But it's
It is
FreeBSD.
French?
It doesn't count.
Well then, yes, it does.
No,
It's
it doesn't.
FreeNAS.
Doesn't count.
It does
It's
count.
not a Linux.
It's
system.
French and it's alive. So Matt, I think you won.
Oh man.
3-2,
I
didn't you?
did, yeah.
3-2.
Tweaked
So
it out.
so is that a beret? No, it's not. It's a ball cap. All right. So join us next time for another edition of Is It Alive?
Dun, 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 dun.
All right. Well, that was grueling.
All right.
Mandos.
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 I think I immediately thought of that. It's a combination of Mandriva and Windows.
I was thinking.
I can understand how you'd think that because that's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
It is not completely. All right.
All right. So next up we have is listener feedback, and we got a few emails this week, or by week. And let's go back to
Mhm.
where were we at?
Well,
My goodness.
I've got. If you want, I can go ahead and start out.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sure.
All right, we got one on the 20th from Xander, friend of the show, listener.
Yeah.
Um,
Hilarious.
yes, the subject is had to email, and it's got a smiley face at the end, so I knew it was going to be good and funny. He says, "Hi guys, I've been meaning to email again for so long, mainly to say thanks for continuing to make the best Linux podcast around and spreading the word about how great Foz is. What made me finally put pen to paper, as it were, well, I finally was checking out DistroWatch to see that there was a new release of Makulu aka Makalulu. Sorry, Tony, I couldn't resist. I'm going to have to set my alarm early to listen to the next show for sure now. Thanks again for doing what you do so well and always making it better for us listeners. The audio has improved so much since I started listening. Love the half book reviews, especially.
Yeah.
Of course, he wrote this before he listened to the last show.
Right.
All the best. So thanks,
Yes.
Sander.
Thanks,
Actually,
Sander.
we what was I going to
He's
say?
in the IRC right now.
Yeah, so thank you very much. I actually laughed quite a bit when I read that. That was
Yeah,
very
yeah,
It's
funny.
hilarious.
So we had that feedback. And then I think we had another one.
We did. We had Brian. I have
Yes.
one here from Brian Botsky, but it was a reply on G Plus.
Oh yeah. He's saying happy anniversary.
We
Yep.
had tell you which we had. We had another one, and it had to do with our studio name because remember we put the call out for names for our studio.
Yeah, because Brian gave a comment on the sort. How I did my last tooltip was on sort, and he said sort -n and sort make 5 come before 30. Without 30 would be before 5. I have no idea what he just said. Oh, yes, I know. Sort -n makes 5 come before 30. Without the n, 30 would come before 5. Yes, he is
because
correct.
it's 3.
Right. And then they
0.
also, besides the -n, have a -h, which is human readable numbers. So
Oh, yeah.
it attempts to do it like a human was reading them. So, like if it's a 24-hour military time, you need to use the -h.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hmm.
What do you mean 24-hour military time?
Like
I
0300,
who
1300, 1500.
yeah, 3 o'clock.
Yes. But unless you use the -h in it, somehow
Some people don't know
no
that.
sort messes it up.
Okay, that's odd.
Yeah.
All right. We had also an email. Actually, I think it may have come in from the site. I'm not sure, but it's from
Yeah.
Max,
Yep.
and it had to do because we had discussed about what to name the new studio here in Bemisville, and Bemisville. There we go. Hey, there's our name. No, but anyway, what Max said, subject to his studio name, and it said, "Listen to 142 today. How about the Sunday morning studio SMS? You could say we recorded SMLR 143 in the SMS on January 25th, 2015."
I'm liking it.
Yeah. So anyway, so we had that.
Hmm.
Have we finalized our name yet for our studio?
No, we haven't.
All right.
I don't know. Are we going to make a decision? Are we going to do a vote?
Are we just gonna
I
go
thought
all
we
year?
were gonna, I thought we were
Yeah, we'll
gonna
just leave
gather
it.
input from the audience.
Okay, so we're getting
So
got like 3 or 4.
well, we've got.
I think friend of
Sunday
the show,
mornings.
John Miller, didn't he have?
Yes, he came out. He said, I forget what he said though, but somebody, hopefully, someone than me is keeping track of this.
He what he said. Well,
Because Brian also had a suggestion. Brian had a suggestion, and
John did.
John did,
Mm-hmm.
and now Max has. So they're coming in.
Yeah. Yeah, there's the Node and there's
Oh, the Node.
a
Yes.
bunch of. I think Node is my favorite so far.
So far, but we shall see.
Yeah. Although I just want to put out here, when my original post about it is that if you want to pay me $200,000, I'll name it whatever you want.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't think you can get any takers.
All right.
Yeah.
I think that's all we have for.
Oh, he actually John's he said studio name Mayfield, home of the beaver.
Yes, that was it.
That was it.
John's.
Yep.
Then we also had more feedback on G Plus from Steve Barry.
From Steve Barry.
Yes.
Oh yeah, he's saying.
He said, Freenode pound SMLR.
Yeah, I'm trying to decide whether he's like, why didn't I put in Freenode in the announcement? Because it's like it took him long enough to figure out that it's on Freenode instead of another.
I don't
or whether
know.
he's like agreeing that Freenode is and IRC is great. I don't know. But
I went with the second on that. I just assumed that was the second.
okay.
But
Okay.
I like Tom Duchesne's reply to him. where he says, because Tom's on the West Coast, and he goes, "Lol, it's at 4:30 a.m."
Right.
I think I responded after that, right?
You
Yeah.
did, because then you said 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard.
To make it sound more reasonable.
Right.
Although I think I was up at 4:30 this morning. No, 4
I
o'clock.
saw you online fairly early. this
Yeah.
morning.
Okay.
All right.
I think that's pretty much our listener feedback. Thank you, folks who sent in and folks
Yeah.
who listen.
I think we'll do
We
the
hear
song.
children.
Right. Yeah, the natives are getting restless. So I think we'll do the song and get out of here.
Yep.
All
Sounds
right.
good.
All right. So this week we are going to do a random Nine Inch Nails song.
I
figured it's been a
You can
while.
tell we were prepared, huh?
That's right. So Nancy,
Balkan carnival music
I'm gonna ask Nancy, our SMLR bot,
to randomly
to
select.
give me a random number between 0 and 18, and she says 2.
Ooh.
So
It looks to me, I can see the IRC, and you did this before and got 11.
that's right. Well, I figured I wanted to make sure my syntax was right, so I didn't screw it up in the middle.
He was testing.
That's right.
Yeah.
So this is the real one, and it's
Okay.
called Track 2, Ghosts 1.
All right. Have we played that before?
No.
Okay. All right. Matt is putting.
That was clean. It was under your power supply.
Okay.
This is 9 Inch Nails? Can I veto a song?
Take it up with Nancy.
All right. Well, if you want to hear the rest of the song, then
Why would you?
Why?
If you
Good
do.
luck.
yeah, that's right. Tune into the edited version, which I will release sometime.
Not the edited version of the
Hopefully
song.
Sometime before the next recording.
That's right. I
All right.
I was getting nervous that because it had been a week and I didn't get it done then. That I was gonna be doing it the night before the show.
Oh, horror of
No.
horrors.
Right. But anyway, so you've been listening to the Sunday Morning Linux Review. This was episode 143.
Rolling up the sleeves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is Tony Bemis.
Matt Enders
And Mary Tomich.
saying, see you next time.
So just satisfying. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Mary, did you,
Hmm?
if you look at our the show for today?
Yeah.
Did you notice they have little things you can
Put in the back?
no, you can edit the video or the screen while it's on live.
Really?
So effects, I guess. Yeah.
Oh,
so there's
okay.
like black and white, and there's a couple other things you can do, brighten it and darken it.
Oh, okay.
This is warm. So you
Yeah.
said you like the warm pictures?
Yeah, doesn't it look-
I was
doesn't
just
it feel
thinking about
warm?
that. Yeah.
Now,
Yeah,
now,
I
did you
like
go
that
to
much better.
turn warm off?
I don't know if I can.
Are we still broadcasting?
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh, yeah,
just
there we go.
ignore this.
So
This will not be in the
turn
show.
To original.
Yeah. Now, see,
Yeah.
it's not as
Okay, that's the
not as warm.
That's original. And
Yeah.
It's been running warm for the whole show.
There. See, it's just got
I
to.
can't tell the difference.
I can.
I can.
Right.
Let's
see. Oh, yeah. I
Oh, there we go. That's what we should do. We can just
What the-
focus
I
on Mary.
Oh my God, what that? And I'm all furry. Or fuzzy, I mean.
Freedom.
Oh, furry.
Well, it's because
I-
it focuses just the
I can't
center.
unhear that.
Spotlight.
Yeah.
you go.
I'm
It-
over
it
there. I
really-
like that.
so
I'm
look
in the
at
middle.
our
All right.
warm, smooth,
We
very
should.
black and white.
Okay. Now this is going to be seen on the Hangout, right?
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Well, I guess we're gonna get going.
I guess
So,
we are.
Goodbye,
Thank
everybody
you.
on YouTube.
Have a good week.
Bye.